Well, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you may be. Welcome to Zyxel's Tech Talk. My name is Tri Wynn. I'm the Market Development Manager here at Zyxel North America. Good to have you here and joining our Tech Talk about new partner solutions and going through an overview of what we provide here at Zyxel. Just a little bit of housekeeping. If you'd like to ask any questions, feel free to use the Q&A section so that way I can follow up with you throughout the whole presentation. Some people will also use the chat, but it's better off to use the Q&A so that I have kind of a record of it in case it starts getting a little chatty there. But welcome. Thanks for being here. We want to introduce to you our company, the products that we have, and how we can work with you from a partner perspective in providing networking solutions. So a little introduction of who we are, if you don't know who Zyxel is. We are here to innovate, simpler ways to inspire, explore, evolve, connect, and communicate and protect networks today. From the world's first integrated voice fax modems to one of the world's fastest wireless access points, we connect and protect people, and we create things in networking. We create network heroes like yourselves. We've been helping our partners work smarter in ways for over the last 35 years by removing those network frustrations that you may have today. And we are Zyxel Networks. We've been in business now over 35 years of networking expertise, 100 million devices making connections, 650 passionate employees in 150 markets, and over 1 million businesses use Zyxel solutions today. We are industry, we use industry leaders as partners, so it helps us to providing lots of products and solutions to your customers while leaning on the expertise of these kinds of companies. Richard did ask, how do we get info and pricing on the Zyxel FWA 710? You can reach out to our sales rep for your region there, Richard, in order to find out more information on that. They have all that through, if it's not at the distribution level, they're able to get that information for you. We are an award-winning brand with lots of different awards that have been given to us throughout the last year or so. And they continue. There's more than these worldwide, but these are kind of the few that are kind of notable things there. So depending on where you are, Richard, we work in the channel. So David, Andy, and Jacob handle the Eastern Canada, the Western region, and the Central region. So depending on which state you're in there, you can reach out to the appropriate account manager and ask that question from a pricing perspective. I know that's like a more of a telco type product for us. So whether it's available in the US or not, they will let you know, or they will find out for you. So we work in the channel. So they are your representatives. Let me go back real quick. They are your representatives for everything in the channel. So if you need help and work with your distribution partner or sales rep there, they can help with stock questions, pricing, special pricing, deal registrations. They can also get you pre-sales support, so bring on a systems engineer or bring on post-sales support. So if you have a technical support issue or question, they can bring the appropriate people on board there as well. So they can help orchestrate all that so you don't have to go looking for and trying to figure out. We want to partner with you to help and facilitate all those things, even down to the drop shipping level of you. There's no stock in a certain distributor that you need to buy from. We local Anaheim, California office, we can drop ship to you through them as well. So we help to facilitate all of that. So lean on them so they can help you in any way that you may need. With Nebula, which is our cloud management solution that ties in with all of our networking hardware, it helps for you to work harder, especially in managing networks. From the cloud perspective, Zyxel offers Nebula, the first full stack cloud networking solution for the SMB. So it's been around since 2016. We have a complete portfolio of security switches, wireless access points, and actually now over 130 products supported in our Nebula Cloud platform. Gives you a single pane of glass management solution for all of your networking products that you use with. So why Nebula or why cloud? Some of you are probably an MSP or maybe even not a break fix, but want to become an MSP. But in order to do that, you have to have all sorts of different tools, monitoring tools and ways to get access to those networks so that you can manage them in a way to make sure that they are both secure. And then if they, in case something is broken or something goes down, you have the ability to get into the network or to see what's going on with that network. But in a traditional kind of way, if you were going to build your own kind of MSP, you would have to purchase the equipment, you install the equipment, you'd have to buy monitoring equipment like an SNMP server, syslog servers. You have to build yourself access to that equipment by doing an MPLS or maybe a VPN or opening up ports and things like that. You have to then get a monitoring platform like a SolarWinds or something and configure those devices to integrate with that so that you can get notifications when things go down. You have to store all of that information in a data or host this equipment in some sort of cloud server or a data center. You have to then find ways to still manage and update settings and configuration. And then how do you do that in mass? If you're just dealing with a single customer, no problem, but you want to scale to hundreds of customers or customers that have hundreds of sites, what do you do there? User management as well. So managing access levels, managing like their user device access, radius servers, authentication, if they have a guest network access, all of that. How do you manage all that? So you have to build this whole system, which then costs a lot of money, a lot of time in order to create the appropriate solution to provide a full security managed services. But with Zyxel Nebula, we kind of take a lot of that out of the equation for you. You still have to purchase the equipment, you still have to install the equipment, but it makes it a lot easier to configure global settings and getting devices up and running very quickly. You don't have to worry about monitoring it because we will do that in the cloud for you. And as well as to configure it, we can do everything through the internet to access that equipment. Um, you don't need necessarily a monitoring platform because we provide that for you, configuring and updates with switches. We provide you with the data storage because all of the historic data is in the system in the cloud, up to 365 days of logging there. It simplifies the updates and setting changes and doing a lot of the configurations or clone sites, making it easy for you to maintain. And then you still have to do the user management, but now it's in a single place that you can manage if you don't have a radius server, or you can use what's built into the device, uh, and to manage different captive portals like what. So it's all managed in a single pane of glass. So that's why Nebula is hassle-free network management. Single pane of glass gives you visibility to an organization which has multiple sites. You can have many organizations that all have many sites under that single pane of glass. You could set up devices without even unboxing them. You can register the device with the mobile app, or you can enter the serial number MAC into the Nebula interface on the mobile app, and you can scan, or you can scan a QR code on the device itself or on the box and get it onboarded into the Nebula platform. And you can get up and running within minutes using that app with a few simple clicks. You can onboard a firewall switch access point, or let's say in some cases, you're doing a larger deployment. You need 20 access points or 40 access points. You literally could scan in 40 QR codes there and say it belongs to this customer, all the configurations that are there. Once it dials home, it gets internet connectivity, it has power, it calls home to the Nebula platform, goes, oh, I belong to this new customer of yours, and automatically grabs the firmware, grabs the configuration that's required for that location. So you can get up and running really quick. And then from a monitoring standpoint, you have access to it anywhere you have a browser, anywhere you have a mobile device, a laptop that has connectivity. You can access the interface in the cloud and be able to monitor, configure, and manage anything or to troubleshoot. So you can imagine if something's gone down or there's a reported issue, if you weren't alerted and alarmed in the first place, you could log into it and kind of do some digging rather than in a, maybe a break fix scenario. If you're a break fix person now, you have no visibility and you would have to send somebody on site and just to maybe, plug in the device or power something on or reboot something. You can do all of this now with the cloud platform. So it could potentially save you a lot of money and time, even in a break fix scenario. But as an MSP, you can imagine the value of you telling your customer and calling them that an access point seems to be down, so that you can, plan and you can work out with them when's the best time that you can come to take a look at it from a physical standpoint, because you've already, exhausted all of your remote access troubleshooting spaces there. So you can manage it as an MSP if you want to manage it as a team or by org. There's device managements there, but it's made for MSPs, ISPs, and global IT people in mind. You can do cloud backup restore, like switch configurations. You can clone sites, like I mentioned earlier, to help you cookie cutter certain templates so that you can get on board similar customers or types of customers very easily and very quickly. And you create those templates and profiles to speed up delivery or speed up changes at a larger scale. You can say the entire organization now has these configurations for DNS or radius authentication, for example, and it scales where you need. You may only have 5 customers today, but you have aspirations to get to hundreds of customers. So it's designed to scale as you need from a single pane of glass. Or if you're just an IT person and you want to manage a single location, or maybe you as a partner, you want to sell to an IT manager, you can sell it to them, set it up for them, and give them the reins so that they can manage it themselves through this Nebula platform. Or as a managed service provider, you can still give them the layer of access, but you could still retain kind of management control so that if they do have any issues, you can still be able to service them or help them. So it just depends on how your business model is for that MSP. It's hassle-free updates, patching and updates. Most people will just leave it as auto update and it will check if there's a new patch, new update, or for that particular device in Nebula, it will automatically grab that at a scheduled time. So you can schedule it to update at 2 or 3 in the morning, so it doesn't affect any of the usage or employees that are there. You can do all of that over the internet. Uh, you can connect different workplaces together, especially this day and age with remote users doing VPNs, trading site to site, client to site VPNs. Meshed VPNs is very easily done through the cloud interface and the wizards that are there. And it helps you then coordinate and helps you to then quickly connect two locations together or send scripts to remote employees that they can import into their device software to get access to the VPN. You can visualize your network as well through the Nebula platform. So you can see all of these different nodes in a topology view, can tell you all the different devices there, as well as third-party devices. If it has those protocols supported, then you can detect, the PCs or the Macs or other devices that are in there, as well as other networking pieces. You can use this to drill in, so you can click on any of those nodes and go in deeper and find out more information, get live diagnostics. There's tools for testing. Again, I think the days of having just a pure break fix network with no access to the network at all is probably gone, because you have access to something very powerful and can do that. Those can give you that information even on a free base level. So yes, free. So, but it gives you then also application and threat monitoring and reports. So some of these features that I just talked about, it's not part of the free structure, but it's part of the pro package, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in a bit. It's AI-driven security. So a lot of the security pieces within the firewall and the network within Nebula, turning it on and activating it, it provides flexible, secure security to that working network. And it uses some of the AI technologies out there to find, detect, and to mitigate, but also disseminate all of the signatures, et cetera, to the entire ecosystem. So it can help to prevent others from getting any kind of malicious malware or from that particular source or whatever it is. Switching also has some AI powered into it as well. So it has intelligent PoE. It has an ability to identify issues like broadcast storms and making these corrections or altering some of the configurations to make sure or to turn on, broadcast storm, things like that, and recover those situations, as well as recovering devices. It can detect if certain ports, let's say there's a camera there and it's no longer sending traffic when before it was, it will try to go through a auto recover scenario by automatically power cycling a PoE, the PoE port, and trying to bring that back online. There's vendor-based VLANs and voice VLANs for automatic VLANs based on the OUI, auto backup, and also stacking as well on the switch side. And in the wireless, we also use AI and smart tech to evolve and adapt to make sure that networks are not interfering with each other. The channels that are there, the clients that are there are on kind of the cleanest channels possible, as well as on moving them from different bands. So load balance them to 2.45 and with Wi-Fi 7, 6 gigahertz, and managing and optimizing those networks in the process while using our smart antenna technology. The dashboard gives you a clear view of that network health. It gives you those bars that people always love. And then kind of tells you, what APs are connected to. So again, so that you can, as an admin, troubleshoot that or get some information, set thresholds, and there's some key, features from a wireless perspective that you might want to consider when deploying our wireless solutions. And Nebula also has now an AI assistant. So if you're new to Nebula and you don't know how to set up a wireless today or wireless network, you can just ask the assistant and it will deliver answers to you to help you and facilitate you to get there to the pages that you need to go. And didn't we mention it's free? I did earlier. So Nebula is a free option. So we call it Nebula Flex. And it's what it sounds like. You can flex it into the cloud or use it in standalone. So it still has a web interface on its own. You can use it like the traditional networks you do today, or you can flex it into cloud. So most all of our switches today, if they're managed in a sophisticated way or business class managed product, they will have Nebula Flex capabilities. So you can put it into Nebula, you can use it in standalone. Now, the Flex term for our security platform is a little bit different because instead of picking standalone and cloud, which is kind of two separate configurations, the new USG Flex H's that I'm going to talk about are security plans. There is only a single config. So it's flexible in that you can choose to go into the GUI interface on the device or manage it in Nebula Cloud, but it will be the same configuration. It's just two windows into the same configuration of that device. So just keep that in mind when we get to the security piece. So there's a base pack, which is the free. It includes 24 hours of logs. If you want to go to a kind of a mid-tier, the plus gives you 30 days of logs and some added features. But most MSPs, most of our partners who are delivering a service to the customer, they go pro because it does give you all those accesses to the AI tools, also the special reporting tools, diagnostic tools that is unlocked here in the pro package. And it's very affordable. It's just based on the node itself. So if you have one AP, one switch, and one firewall, that's 3 pro packs, pro licenses. And each pro license is about $30 a year. So $30 a year street price per node. Sounds like a lot, but when you break it down per month, as most MSPs do from a monthly perspective, it's $2.50 per device per month. So if you charge $10 a month to your customer for a pro license, you can pay for that Nebula, or it already pays for that Nebula license per se. You're going to get your partner discounts on top of that. So you're going to be earning your percentages on that recurring revenue there as well as providing the service and the hardware for that kind of service. On top of that, I would say if you have many different admins and maybe more than 10 sites that you might have multiple admins manage, you might want to go and add an MSP. It's an MSP license, which gives you kind of a higher level. It gives you more scalability for cross-organizational management, regardless of what service packs you're using inside those. It provides then user admin, team management, cross-organizational templates. So you can create kind of a universal template that then you can use towards any other customers inside your that you manage underneath that. So every account that needs to have access to these tools on the MSP side, which could be a subset of all your admins. So maybe one or two, most likely, is going to just need that MSP pack so they can manage the higher tier level things. Then you just have to buy that. And the MSP license now is only $99 a year per account that needs that kind of access for that. So they're registered underneath to all the other for all your other organizations down here, but then they have basically this higher level access to help coordinate and manage across all those different orgs. You can still do it without that MSP license, but it could be cumbersome. That's why I say if you have like multiple admins that need to manage different sites or want reports from just separate organizations, separate customers are tied into a certain admin, then you might want to get to the MSP pack if you want to be able to kind of quickly manage all of that. So when you start scaling a lot, larger than MSP is probably ideal for you. But you can have a discussion with your sales rep to see when or maybe why you might need that in some scenarios for your situation. But it supports over 130 devices. Pretty much everything we release um, on the SMB side goes into the Nebula Cloud now. That is our kind of our number one differentiator that kind of crosses all platforms or crosses all the products. And it helps from a delivery standpoint. It's a single place where you can have all your entire network stack be managed. So from an MSP perspective, it makes it a lot easier. You don't have to mix and match other vendors' pieces just to have a full, complete a solution from security, wireless, and switching side. Some of the other vendors they may be really strong in one or two of those pieces, but not like us, where we do have all three components that compete very well against any of ranges on the low end to the high end models there. So what's included with the Pro Pack? You can see mostly here. The biggest, I'd say the biggest deal is probably the logging. You have 1 year of rolling logs in the Pro Pack. There's no limit on admins you can use, and there's no limit on user entries per site. So if you have customers that are larger than 50 like users in there, um, then you might want to go with the Pro Pack. And there's a lot more functions here. One thing of note, if you don't log into your base pack, which is the free one, at least once every 30 days, then it goes into like a cloud saving mode. The logs kind of stay there, but we won't be actively spitting the logs back to you if you logged in, and it will start like re-logging or pulling back that data for the last 24 hours when you log in again. It's just so it can save us, some valuable storage time, especially if your site is more break fix anyways. You don't need that kind of level of log monitoring. Then it kind of saves there. So just know that. Whereas when you go to the Plus and the Pro Pack, then it's always going to be, there's no cloud saving mode. It's always, the data is always stored and available there. A lot more features that on the Pro Pack side, and a lot of it has to do with, configuration backups, restores, audit logs. So as an MSP, you want to know if one of the admins changed something, organizational wide syncing, cloning, and templating. Again, that helps you to be able to add more sites very easily, very quickly, especially if you have let's say a retail customer and they just are opening up 200 stores. You don't have to reconfigure every 200 stores or each of the 200 stores. You can clone and template them so that it can be more efficient that way. Then that way you just have to scan in the devices that belong to each store and it will get its configuration that way. So if you are interested in Nebula at all, or even tried it out, or maybe you don't even know where to start, what we've done is we've given now a risk-free 60-day trial kits that you can grab from your sales rep. Just reach out to them. You can go and they will give you a link where you can register to get these for free for 60 days. There's an SMB pack, which gives you a USG Lite 60AX firewall. It gives you a gigabit PoE switch and a Wi-Fi 6 access point. Now you can take one or you can take all three if you want, but we want you to be mindful. If you don't really want to sell into the gigabit low end market and you're more of that SMB Pro side, then grab the SMB Pro. It gives you the USG Flex 200H full featured firewall. It gives you a multi-gig switch with PoE and gives you a Wi-Fi 7 access point. And that lets you throw it into Nebula, test out UTM features, test out the security, test out the multi-gig throughput, as well as the Wi-Fi 7 connectivity. The Plus pack is the USG Lite 60AX, so kind of the low entry level firewall there with the Wi-Fi 7 and multi-gig. So it's similar to the Pro, but instead it's just with kind of the entry level firewall there. So most of our customers will gravitate towards the SMP Plus because it gives you multi-gig and Wi-Fi 7. Or if they're doing more UTM security or never have used a security appliance like this before and want to try that out, they'll take the SMB Pro. So if you decide after 60 days you don't want to keep it, we will send you a just request for a return label and return all the pieces. Make sure you save all the boxes and all the content, please, and just send it back to us. And then there's no harm, no foul there. But if you'd like to keep it, we'd like to give you a 40% discount to keep that set, whether you want to use it for your office, your lab, or we've had some customers who will take that and put it in their end customers as a proof of concept as well. So you decide what you want to do with that. A lot of good reasons why. Again, you've already heard about the Nebula Cloud platform itself, the remote management, the auto provisioning, and it's made for MSPs today. There's that risk-free 60-day trial. It comes with a limited lifetime warranty, free US-based tech support on all of our business products. Becoming a partner is free, and once you're approved, you're going to be sitting on our silver level, discounted directly through distribution. You have then a sales account manager that's assigned to you and dedicated to you to help you deal with any kind of solutions there. We want to give you up to 20% margin selling Zyxel business class products. So once you're a partner, you can get to our gold tier, and that's where you can get those benefits. And so now that was like kind of the introduction to Nebula and some of the kits there, because really we want you to try Nebula. I always say technology is going to come and go. Our technology is great, but we want you to know that whether you are using Wi-Fi 6 today, moving to Wi-Fi 7, or tomorrow is going to be 8, 9, 10, wherever it may be, we want to make sure that the platform that you're delivering these kinds of services and technology will continue to function in a way that makes it profitable for you and make it easier for you to manage and to improve your customers' experience. But from a technology standpoint, our wireless is designed with the RF in mind, making sure that whatever we do within our products is shielded appropriately. It provides you as little interference as possible, maximizes the connectivity. So that results in better coverage, faster speeds, and a better experience for your clients. There's single mesh capabilities, so there's no complex setups. You can drop in another AP to mesh with another Zyxel AP without a cable. It just needs power, and they can mesh together. And then you can use that smart mesh to extend networks into different areas. Now, of course, you want to be wired as much as possible because that's going to give you the best latency or the lowest latency, the better reliability per se. And so there's less interference chances there. But in some cases, you can't get to that extra space or that little corner spot. Wireless mesh is a great solution to have there. We have enterprise class security as a standard. So if you're doing WPA2, WPA3, using 802.1x authentication with a Radius server or an Active Directory server, we have it all. All of the roaming standards that you would typically need or use as well for assisted roaming while being authenticated in that kind of environment. We have stronger and smarter onboarding with dynamic personal pre-shared keys, allows for you to create a single SSID in that office. Now, whether you're a guest, whether you're a private network user, whether you're a voice over IP phone, whatever, you don't have to create an SSID separate for each one of those services. Just depends on which passphrase you use, puts you onto that bucket so that it acts just like a normal pre-shared key that you would give somebody to get into that Wi-Fi network. But based on what they use, it puts them into that bucket, puts them into that VLAN. So again, makes it easier for you to do that without having to clutter your entire space, opening up your Wi-Fi device and seeing 40 different SSIDs and trying to figure out, well, which one do I connect to, right? So it improves that for your customers, but it can also be powerful in locations or maybe like rental offices where you can have a single SSID, and based on the passphrase that they're using, the different businesses or the different temporary offices will get their own network in the entire building without having to worry about somebody else connecting or seeing my data on my network in that public space. So they can have their own private SSID or private VLAN in the process. So just as a little cool idea there. Machine learning as well, so it helps to adjust, move clients around from different channels, improves the quality. Just imagine being able to move customers who were on 2.4 gigs and moving them to 5 gigahertz or 6 gigahertz, freeing up the space in 2.4. So legacy devices that can't support anything else will have a better connectivity experience there, while the other client devices can move and have their own better experiences in a higher bandwidth or higher speed channel. So a little bit about our wireless APs. We offer kind of three different flavors. One is just a set antenna, one is a dual optimized antenna, and one is a smart antenna option. So the dual optimized antenna gives you the ability to take a typically mounted for ceiling access point and be able to put it on the wall. If you took a traditional AP and you mounted it here on, that's supposed to be for the ceiling, so it's supposed to go on top. But if you then put it on the wall because it doesn't have a drop ceiling, or maybe the ceiling's concrete and you can't put it up top, and you have to put it against the wall, the signaling is made in a way where it's going to go up and down, because it's coming out of the top plate or top face of the AP. It's supposed to be, directing downwards on the floor. But in this scenario, when you put it on the wall, it's going through the floors, which is not as good. So it's causing interference in the process. But with dual optimized antenna, you can actually flip the switch virtually. We have a second array basically of antennas that will flip it. So the orientation, even though put it on the wall, it's going to blast it down to across the floor rather than through the ceiling. Now, if you wanted to also, you could use this to put it onto the ceiling. If you had like a, let's say it's a high concentration of APs and you want to just, and it's a high ceiling per se, you might want to just blast it straight down without going too wide to cause interference. So we've had people kind of, finagle that or manipulate that piece and use it to their advantage, but just know how the signal goes, if, so you can wield the power appropriately. Code channel interference is the main reason why we have high signal, but then poor quality wireless. Maybe by a show of hands, how many of you have had your customers or yourself complain about the Wi-Fi not working very well? This Wi-Fi stinks. And I get that all the time when I go to a hotel. Thanks, Matt. We all experience that. And the customers are feeling the same way. And usually it's because poor wireless kind of deployment in the process. So code channel interference is the main reason for that. There's a lot of noise, a lot of interference when you have lots more devices and access points in the coverage area. And how do you deal with that? Well, typically you could use, that wall mount in the ceiling kind of configuration, like I mentioned earlier, or you'd have to lower the power. So you kind of reduce the power. So you reduce the range and interference, but in the process, you're going to get less coverage. So you either have to add more APs in those pockets to get better coverage, but less interference. So it doesn't really solve the problem so well. Uh, Smart antenna is probably your best bet in those kinds of scenarios because it increases capacity, increases coverage while reducing interference. And how does it do that? Well, smart antenna has an antenna array that can do some special things. Not only does it provide optimal uh, uh, omnidirectional coverage, but then it also can provide directionalized coverage. So let's go back to our previous example. You have a smart antenna that's in that space, or let's say you didn't have smart antenna. There's interference that might be caused by other access points, devices. So it makes for the interface or the connectivity to those clients to have a lot of noise. Now, if you throw in smart antenna technologies, what happens is the technology and the access point will actually looks through an algorithm of over 4,000 antenna patterns, and the cycle takes only 100 milliseconds to figure out what's better for me to transmit to that client as well as received from that client. And it improves the quality without the devices themselves having to have that technology. So one other vendor has a similar technology, but it requires for the client device to also have that technology in order to benefit. Zyxel's solution with smart antenna is unique in that it's agnostic to that. So we do all the work to improve that quality of service. We provide a whole range of access points from the simple all the way to the complex, I guess we'd say, but ones that are made for, full featured kind of high end type models as well. But what I wanted to kind of share with you is why Wi-Fi 7. People have Wi-Fi 6 today, and it's plenty of bandwidth speeds for their customers today. But the one thing that it doesn't have is a 6 gigahertz range. Or maybe you are using like Wi-Fi 6E or something like that, and it gives you the 6 gigahertz. But most of us are probably still sitting on Wi-Fi 6 or even Wi-Fi 5, AC and AX today. And one of the major pieces is not necessarily, again, about bandwidth. Not only does it give you more channels, but the 6 gigahertz gives you something special in Wi-Fi 7. It's called multi-link operation, MLO. And Wi-Fi 6, when you're using it today, you have to choose the client device connects to 2.4 or 5. Now, if you use Nebula, Nebula can help, again, that AI tool, the Wi-Fi health and such, it can help to migrate or steer customers from 2.4 into 5, et cetera. So again, to try to load balance it out, give it better quality for everyone, connectivity. Oh, I just saw Andre's comment that many hotels are awful. Yeah, because usually they try to get away with putting in as little APs as possible to try to get the maximum coverage. But the problem is your mobile device is the lowest power saving mode type device. It can't go back through the same way. So it might see 4 bars of signal, but when it tries to communicate with the access point 3 walls away, it's not going to be able to do so. So that's where the why hotels are awful in that regard. They don't do it correctly, because they're trying to just meet a budget or be very um, cost effective about it. I guess maybe at the expense of quality, right? So they're trying to find that balance. So there's always a balance to that. So here with Wi-Fi 6, you have to choose or 2.4 or 5 gigahertz. But with multi-link operation, if your device supports it, it can do 2.4, 5, and 6 at the same time. So it improves latency. It provides higher reliability. It helps to avoid interference. So moving through whatever channel needs to be at that moment in time to be the best quality as possible. And in the process, it also increases the data rate because it can aggregate that bandwidth across the board as well. So again, not about speed, but about quality is probably your biggest reason why you want to move to Wi-Fi 7. And combining that Wi-Fi multi-link operation with smart antenna, it gives you one of the best experiences for Wi-Fi compared to any of the other generations. So our flagship model, our WBE 660S, is the world's first Wi-Fi 7 access point with smart antenna technology. So providing this kind of solution anywhere that you have poor quality Wi-Fi is going to solve a lot or help to mitigate that. Number one question I get, oh, with 6 gigahertz, do I get better coverage? Answer, it's Wi-Fi. No, you get the same coverage because if we try to still put it within the footprint, but your rule of thumb is always no more than 2 walls. If you draw a line from an access point through the building or through the office space, if you're going and traversing through 2 walls, more than 2 walls, that's your limit, right? So don't go more than two. Because the reason is not necessarily the AP is weak. It's because the devices, like I mentioned, the tablets, your mobile devices are the ones that are weak. If you had a high-powered like laptop, has Wi-Fi 7 stuff built into it, and has a high-power radio in there, of course, it's going to be able to communicate just fine. Probably, 3 walls, it might be okay. But the mobile devices is where you have kind of to build out your least common denominator in a sense, right? That's the lowest power option for customers. But putting this in there again will help solve and mitigate places where you have lots of interference, a lot of other access points that you have no control over, or high density locations like schools or conference centers, or even like large meeting spaces that where you have maybe hundreds of devices. Putting in a smart antenna now maximizes both the MLO and that Wi-Fi 7 technology. So this is our flagship model. It has then 10 gig uplinks, surge protection. It's all PoE powered or USB-C powered as well. There's a lot of shielding. It's made for high density locations like schools, for auto centers, again, things where you might have a lot of interference and a lot of users, providing guest network access, et cetera, or high bandwidth applications where you're doing AR and VR without having to go through and dealing with uh, you know, you can use like more of the raw data rather than compressed data. So it again minimizes and reduces their latency and enhances that user experience. So powering all of that, not only for wireless, is the switching network. So all of our PoE devices, et cetera, being able to provide power across the different types of cabling. So just keep in mind, it's just a reminder of why you may need to also increase or change out Cat 5e to like a Cat 6, depending on your application. Cat 5e will still do 2.5 and 5, but you won't be able to do 10 at all. But you have to go and move to Cat 6 to do it at least some distance. And then PoE is moving now also from the 30 watt to the 60 watt and releasing product that you'll be seeing very soon as well that will give you 90 watts of PoE power to power up, higher end and antennas, cameras, and you know, maybe outdoor access points with heaters and things like that. So our switches help you to do all the things that you would need from a switch perspective. Not only is it giving you power, but it also can do the VLANing, the voice VLAN automatic, et cetera, that I mentioned earlier, the machine learning built into it, and then the automated systems to configure and do site cloning to help facilitate large deployments. So even when you're doing, let's say, 20 switches in a certain network and they're all in the same kind of profile, you can just say these all 20 will be this identity of that organization or that site. And once those go online, they all take that configuration and then have all the VLANs, et cetera, already loaded into it. So similar to the APs, we have kind of the simple web managed with cloud all the way up to kind of project-based ones that have layer 2, layer 3 with higher power budgets, full layer 2, layer 3 managed switches there. So again, depending on where you sit or what options or solutions that you are trying to deploy. We have a full array of different transceivers for the fiber side or direct attached cables that you can then uplink between very quickly and easily on a 10 gig space for your switch kind of core there. We just launched our PoE 12 3PD, which is actually making a lot of traction, making a lot of noise because it's very affordable from a street price perspective. Online, it's a $75 unit. It's outdoor rated, so you can use it as a weather hardened piece. But the big thing is that it's powered by PoE. So you can inject it with 60 watts of power. It gives you, it powers the device 100 meters out. It will then transmit 45 watts to the other three ports. So the other three ports here will then give you up to 45 watts. Each port can support 30 watts. So you can imagine if you went 15, 15, 15, then that kind of gives you that 45 that you need to power three 15.4 watt per se, let's say, devices. So this can be IP cameras, other access points, or just to even extend the network to get you PoE ports. We already have some application where they said, hey, we just need to get uh, uh, power up devices or just Ethernet ports without having to take up another power slot on the power strip at a retail shop. So they just run Ethernet all the way out to the front, cashier's desk area, and it's powered by PoE. And then it can deliver other PoE, so they could put a voice over IP phone or any other devices, et cetera, that can use that kind of power. So just imagine how you can do that. Or again, it's weather hardened, so you can put it outdoors, so you can go to a pole, and then you can extend it even further to go to another camera, et cetera. Or you can just do it the traditional way by just doing PoE injection. So these will inject power. It needs a power supply, though, to inject that power onto an existing like data line. So this can inject and continue power also to a device all the way up to 90 watts. Our XMG 1915 series, that's our entry-level multi-gig cloud managed solution. So it's a Nebula Flex platform product. Gives you a very cost-effective way to get multi-gig ports as well as multi-gig PoE plus PoE power. You can deploy it within the app. You can use if you're doing things more on the CCTV side, the 1350 series provides you with extended range. It has built-in range that can go up to 250 meters. Gives you continuous PoE, even if the software is getting rebooted, as well as camera auto recovery. So in case a device stops working, it will then try to resuscitate it. It has a high power budget, so 375 watt powers provided in these ports options there, and then surge protection as well. The 1920 series is probably, I would call, our flagship, or maybe not our flagship, our most bread and butter kind of product line. It sits kind of in the middle of the space where You have options for 8 ports, 24 ports, and 48 ports with and without PoE. You could put it on Nebula Flex, or you can put it into Pro, or you can use it as standalone. So it's very flexible in which way you do. So a lot of customers will standardize on this one. But then if you need something with 10 gig uplinks for your core, it's still in that same software space. So XGS 1935. So the X just stands for 10 gig uplinks with gigabit switch ports, right? So that's the kind of the naming convention there. When you go up to the XS here, so this is an XS, so it's an X Roman numeral for 10. So it's a 10 gig switch. It means all the ports that you see here are 10 gig capable. So 10 gig SIP pluses, 10 gig copper ports, and the ones with the yellow bars are the ones that have PoE power. So this is an 8-port PoE with 2 more copper and 2 more fiber 10 gigs. And this power budget is 375 watts on just 8 ports. So it can power up a lot of things. Most Wi-Fi 7 access points on the high end will require you to use the 60 watt PoE plus. So this is what will give it to you. XMG 1930s is the new series, or actually the 35s. It's transitioning from the 1930s to the 1935 series, but that will give you all multi-gig ports with up to 700 watts of PoE++ power. So they'll be doing like 2.5 gigs on the copper side there. The XGS 2220 is our maybe our project built ones that have layer 3 and Nebula Flex Pro built in. So it comes with 1 year of Pro Pack bundled with it, but it gives you then higher PoE port powers budget as well. So all the way up to 960 watts on a 48 port, whereas the standard 48 port that we have will do 600 watts. The XS 3800 series is kind of a Frankenstein top of the rack switch. It has all 10 gig ports with both SFP plus fibers and copper options and combo ports. So you can, decide which way you want to go with more SFPs or more copper ports, depending on your application. So we just launched as well our new CX4800. It's a aggregation 25 gig / 100 gig aggregation fiber switch. It's 48 ports of 10 gigs / 25 gig ports, as well as 8 100 gigs. This thing will push 4 terabytes or terabits per second, 4 terabits per second in its plane. It's hot swappable power and fans, so it has AC and DC versions, as well as layer 3 aggregation and stacking coming soon. And it's still managed in our Nebula Cloud platform or in standalone kind of management mode there. So it connects all sorts of business, whether you're a small office, maybe a larger offices, then you might have different combinations of switches and then access points in the process. So quickly going through our security offering, this is our networking cybersecurity solution. It provides a lot, again, the same like AI functionality, security that evolves automatically because we use those partners, like I mentioned before, like Trellix, Webroot, LifeLock, to do some of these tasks that provide the security functionality. So they are constantly updating things, which then pass on to us as well. And then that passes along to you and your customers. So we engage in all of these security experts to provide all these different layers with cybersecurity. There is many different ways, different types of threats that are out there. And how do you deal with that? You can't just choose, well, I just want something that's only providing me IPS or IDP. Well, what about all the other pieces that potentially could provide a threat to you, like malware, viruses, zero-day threats, or content, or DNS reputations or IP reputations, bad IPs, and all that kind of stuff? How do you deal with that? So we work with all these partners to provide those levels of security services. So we provide different services like our content filtering, secure Wi-Fi for remote Wi-Fi access to your network, etc. Connect and protect to work with APs to provide an edge level security protection, or the gold security solution that you can add on or add to our business class products that give you the full complete suite of cybersecurity threat protection with our UTM services there. It's AI powered. So if there are things that happen and are detected in one place, it can then be used and be shared across all the other locations in the world that are using our technology and our security. You also get visibility. So all of the threats identify, you can monitor, you can see and identify abnormal user behaviors over a term or over a period of time and be able to alert and alarm on that. You can create customized reports. So that's probably the number one selling reason why you can charge as a managed service like these network security solutions and provide to your customers what they're paying for. So if they're paying, $200 a month on security services that you're managing, you can provide this report to them and provide them the data that they may need. It will tell them how many, viruses were blocked or ransomware attacks that has happened in that month, how much bandwidth you've used, who's gone to which websites, what were your number one clients or number one employees using those kinds of services, and where did they go? Like that kind of information to be provided in this report to provide that value to your customer. It provides centralized provisioning and synchronization. So if you have policies that span across multiple offices, like a VPN connectivity access or those kinds of policies that allow for them to go to certain websites, you can span that across the entire organization or to multiple sites there. So it helps to manage those security policies and synchronize all those policies together. It helps to simplify those workplaces, like I mentioned earlier, with the automatic VPN, automatic configuration of devices when you're using our software. And then I mentioned earlier too that secure Wi-Fi, being able to drop one of our Zyxel access points into a remote office or a home office, not having to change anything in their router or making them switch out anything. But now a remote user or a hybrid worker can go from office to home and have the same experience as if they were sitting in the office. So they can connect to the same SSID as they would at work, the authentication, etc. The AP builds a secure tunnel back to the network office and then be able to make a plug and play extension. So we also, in the security space, provide you a whole range from kind of the entry level, easy to install, little to configure type thing or minimal licenses on the Lite series, all the way up to the full featured USG Flex and the USG Flex H series. So quickly through our base firewall here, this is our USG Lite 60AX. It provides for you Wi-Fi built in, Wi-Fi 6, dual 2.5 gig ports, so you can use it for WAN and LAN. Easy setup in our Nebula Cloud platform, and it offers you a subscription-free security. It has built-in ransomware prevention, and then you can upgrade it to an elite pack that gives you an enhanced security for zero-day threat protection as well as content filtering at only $50 a year. So very cost-effective there for added security. And it also has VPN built in as well. But our, just as a note, our USG Flex series is kind of in its last buy phase. This has been our main USG security firewall with full UTM, enhanced sandboxing and threat protection, and it's transitioning to the H series. So the H series is now this new era in our cybersecurity. It provides you much higher performance. So the H is for high performance models that give you very high throughput UTM capabilities at a very cost-effective price. So it's AI-powered security, as you saw earlier from those providers, and some models have integrated PoE. So if you want to extend or put a VoIP phone or an access point to make this wireless, you can do so right on the box without having to get another PoE switch or an injector. It's also cloud managed within our Nebula with the Smart Sync functionality. The cybersecurity intelligence powered by our AI Secu pilot can provide you a lot of those information, threat management, et cetera, that I kind of mentioned earlier as well. So you can access this through Nebula to get to that secure reporter, but all the syslogs and data that goes into these reports gets saved in the cloud as well. So the H series, again, ranges from kind of that lower entry level with UTM all the way up to our high-end flagship model, which is our CRN award-winning model. USG Flex 700H provides you then with up to 4 gigabits per second of UTM throughput through the firewall. It then gives you multi-gig ports as well as 10 gig uplinks as well. I would say this is geared towards a 2.5 gig internet WAN. Usually I'll take the UTM throughput and take about 50 to 60% off of this number to find out what WAN speed, max WAN speeds I should probably put them in. So this one, if I'm following my example, this is good for about a 300 meg or 350 meg internet connection, because this is using the theoretical max, fullest, largest packet sizes, right? It's getting the max possible data throughput, which you don't experience on a normal day-to-day basis. So just keep that a rule of thumb in mind. So it works for great for teleworkers, small offices, or medium-sized offices, or even connecting larger types of applications, multiple buildings, multiple offices together, depending on what you're doing. So different models can be used for different purposes, both on kind of the small business side, but even kind of enterprise level applications there. We work in the channel. And so we have our program, our partner program. If you're not part of it, please join. You automatically sit in our silver tier when you first join. And then if you can have qualifying sales in these half period terms, you can move up. So for basically 2K a month in Zyxel product sales, you can get to gold, which then gives you the maximum discounts as well as access to a lot of other resources. You can work through our distributors, D&H, Ingram, TD Synnex, Wave, Target, and Blue Star to get these discounts and such if you haven't signed up with them already. So if you'd like to connect with us, go to LinkedIn, Zyxel-US-channel, and request to join there. Or you can find me if you want to connect with me and follow me also on social media there in LinkedIn. Just search for Zyxel Try. That's TRI. So ZYXEL Try, and you'll be able to find a picture of me pretty easily. Or if you want to watch this content or other videos and other previous webinars, you can go to YouTube and go to the Zyxel America channel, and that will give you all that content as well. So if you have any questions now, this is your chance. We got a couple minutes. If you do have any questions, please feel free to type it in the Q&A section. If not, we thank you, or maybe you think of a question later on. You can always email me, TRI at Zyxel.com. I've been at Zyxel now 21 years, so that's why I have the most basics of emails, right? Back in the day. So I have one of the original, just no last name, just my first name at Zyxel.com. So easy to remember, easy to use. Matt says, thank you. Very great information. Thank you, Matt, for being a partner and coming and joining. I love talking to partners. If we ever get a chance in one of our events, we are going, I think, in October to Wispapalooza in Las Vegas coming up, and we'll be on the show floor there as well. But if you can't make it into the show floor and you want to just have a meeting in Vegas at some point during that time, you can search. I think it's the third week of October. If you'd like to connect with us, we'll be at that event, and we'd love to meet in person and go out for a coffee or a snack or whatever it is, and just talk about business and make that happen. So any one of those events, if you want to, feel free again to come along, let us know, or look at our event calendar and see how we can get in touch with you. We also make a lot of different road trips out there. So if you're near a, I guess, larger city or easy to get to, you might want to reach out to your sales rep there, as we're planning out these little kind of road trips to meet and present and talk some of these solutions with you. Alfonso asks, is there a slide deck available for partners to download? We can make it available through your sales account manager. So reach out to them. I'll provide them this deck for you to take a look at, or at least a PDF version of it, so that you can download. Thank you again, also as well, Alfonso, for joining us. So if there's no other questions at the moment, again, you can always email me, try@zyxel.com, if you think of it later, or if you have any thoughts, concerns, things like that, feel free to reach out. If you like this content, or you want to hear more about certain types of content, maybe expand upon some of those products, we do product kind of, or solution-based webinars throughout the month. So there's a webinar on our wireless AP specifically, a deeper dive into our Nebula platform. But I would encourage you to sign up for and get one of those free trials, the 60-day risk-free trials, and get your hands on it. We know that once partners start to use the product and try out Nebula, it becomes one of those things where they don't want to use anything else. So any products of ours that do not have Nebula for some reason, they would prefer to use Nebula. Again, even on a break-fix scenario, even if you're not an MSP today, but have aspirations to become an MSP, this is the platform that you should look into and consider. from a cost perspective, a single vendor, single pane of glass, very cost effective options for both kind of the low end if you need, or we can compete against all of the high end vendors as well. So providing a very sophisticated solution where we don't brick your units. So even if you're on the pro package and you forgot to pay or don't, your customer doesn't want to pay anymore, rather than bricking your device, it's just going to go to the base pack. So it's still going to give you the free access. So instead of 365 days of logs, that customer site, that organization, that customer will go down to the 24-hour logs. So again, it helps to helps in those kinds of transitions as well. Well, I thank you. It's 12 o'clock now. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Thank you for joining me this afternoon now. Look forward to working with you as a Zyxel partner, and we hope to be your networking solution. So see you until next time. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day.